It is our Feel Good Friday story. We are surrounded by so much negativity. It's good to sometimes shake that off and get in touch with people who are doing great things in the country. Reinie Swart, Swart. That's a great Afrikaans name. I guess you're going to tell me, call me Reinie.
Call me Reinie, Ninja, go by many names.
Eco Ninjas. I asked you before we went on air what your title is: founder, chief executive, managing director, and your answer is? Eco
Ninja. Look, I mean CEO and founder. That's what my email signature says, so that people take me seriously. But I'm an Eco Ninja, and when I'm on set with the guys that work with me and for me, I'm just a ninja, just a teammate.
That's very cool. Firstly, how did you what Eco Ninjas? What do you do? When did you start?
So Eco Ninjas, our corporate way of saying it is that we ensure eco-friendly film and commercial production with specialist waste management on set. So what that means is we put a small team of ninjas on film sets, mainly commercials, that actively collect, wash, and separate waste as it accumulates. So we're a waste management company with a specific focus on the film industry because it produces so much waste.
That's super cool. When did you start? How many years ago?
So we started in August 2020. We did our first job. I initially had the idea in December 2019, and I've been working as a production assistant in the film industry for a couple of months. And January 2020, I sent out an emailer to all the production companies that I could find access to online that pretty much marketed what we do. And then COVID obviously hit, and it took us 8 months to do our first job. And that was August 2020 that we did our first job.
Why did you start? Why did you start this really cool sounding business?
First of all, it did sound cool,
There's always that going for you, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think your idea has to inspire you, and I've always been fascinated with concepts and cool ideas, and I'd always wanted to start something, but honestly, I was just sick and tired of being broke. I had no money. I was working my flipping arse off.
Yeah.
And I'd always wanted to start a business, but I also wanted to create a sustainable financial future for myself that didn't require me to trade my time for money going forward. Because I watched a lot of podcasts and read a lot about, what it takes to actually create passive income, and that was my main idea because I'm super passionate about music, so that's a complete different story. But I wanted to create a business that would eventually allow me income without trading my time, but also I really wanted to make an impact, a positive impact in the country, because we drive past homeless people every day. I drive the N2 often here in Cape Town, and I still cannot believe that people live the way they do. It's flipping. It keeps me up at night, to be honest. So I wanted to see if it was possible to create a business that was not only good for the environment, but also good for the socio-economic landscape of the country, which is in turmoil,
Why film sets? Is that just happenstance because you worked on film sets, or is there a particular reason for it?
I think mainly because I was in the industry. So I was a production assistant, and I'd already built some good relationships with my bosses and production companies, and I realized that I could turn some of them into clients, but also the sheer amount of waste being produced on set was alarming, and no one was doing anything about it. So they always say that a good business is usually when you provide a solution to something that seems like it should have been done already, but it isn't. So and my boss at the stage, because you work as a freelancer in the film industry, and you know, 1 week you're with this production company, next week you're with someone else. The current lady I was working for that owns a company called Monkey Films, production company, she is super, super passionate about recycling, and I knew that she would bite on the idea, although it took a couple of weeks to convince her eventually. And then she gave me the opportunity to do the first job where instead of PAing for her, I could actually collect all the waste on set and charge a small fee and provide her with a little bit of insight into how much do we really waste, how much food waste is ending up in the landfill from a small 5-day shoot, which ended up being like 200 kilograms. You know?
Well, let's get to the stats. How many tons on average goes to the landfill? How much can be recycled? How much actually has to go to the landfill? Let's start there.
So, I mean, 80% of what you collect in terms of waste is recyclable from what I've seen, as long as it's properly separated. So I would say the average film shoot, if you're looking at 3 to 5 days on set for a commercial of about 50 to 100 people, will produce about 300 to 500 kilograms of waste. Waste, you know, it's not actually waste.
Yeah.
With at least 200 kilograms of that being food waste, which is ridiculous because it's so easy to just separate it and it's got so many uses. So yeah, I'd say about max 500 kilograms for a 5-day job is what would usually end up in the landfill. Of that, we can ensure that, say, 420 to 400 kilograms of that is accounted for and not ending up in the landfill. Whatever does go to the landfill simply cannot be recycled in South Africa at the moment. It can, but the industry only actually wants to accept things that are profitable for them. So that's what, you've seen on pieces of plastic, you've got the numbers 1 to 7. Only 3 of those numbers are actually widely accepted and recycled in the country because it's profitable for the people that actually process it. But yeah, on average, I'd say an average of, let's call it 400 kilograms of waste per shoot. And that is for, say, a 5-day shoot. And that's only related to catering and, consumables sort of waste. That doesn't account for art department's waste, which is usually, heaps or wardrobe or offcuts of clothing or whatever it may be. So that's where we're building towards to account for that sort of waste as well. But that needs to start at pre-production. You need to, and production companies need to be willing to play their part as well.
What surprised you about starting this business?
Well, I was surprised that it actually worked, first of all. I was surprised that you could have an idea, something so intangible, and turn it into reality. So that was amazing to see, because I think the most daunting thing is actually getting going and taking the risk, But yeah, another thing that surprised me was how much effort it took and still takes. It's such an exciting thing, and then as soon as it is a real business, it's actually just so freaking difficult and admin and grafting for flipping nights and nights on end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say just the fact that I could see that energy put in is energy put out eventually, and that if you really do want to do something, you can do it. So that was surprising and amazing. Yeah.
What remains a massive pain in the ass for you? You've mentioned admin. There must be other stuff on top of that.
There is. Look, a big one, which is now not so much of a pain in the ass anymore, but food waste is like I've had such teachable moments with food waste where I've got to be on set at 4:30 in the morning, so I've got to leave at 3:30, and I open the van's door and I realize that I'm storing my food waste incorrectly in a small black bucket, and it's the gases have bubbled and popped the lid open, and we've got 3 centimeters deep of food waste liquid in the back of a van that I'm trying to clean up.
Yummy.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a super teachable moment. And I mean, now it's also super heavy. It's something that to discard of takes massive amount of efforts. I'll send you some videos of me breaking my back trying to dump the stuff into at a Runners City farm. But that problem has been solved by finding someone that could use it for their pigs in the township. So a lot of the guys, food waste has some real value for them, and they're actually willing to come collect it now. And it's at no cost to us, which is amazing, and they're also reaping some benefits. But I'd say staying motivated is quite tough at times. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that consistency beats motivation. And if you're patient and you're willing to push on with something and get back up every time you fall, and you're willing to be patient and realize that it's going to take 3 to 5 years for this to get anywhere, you're less overwhelmed by the immense amount of tasks that are ahead of you, because it's not like, when you have a job and you've got a set to-do list to make happen, and you get home at 5 p.m. and you put on the TV and you chill. It's there's always more that should be done, can be done, and will be done.
Are corporates coming on board with this sort of thing? I mean, just at the face value, it is so incredibly useful and positive what you are doing. Are corporates coming on board? Are they partnering? Is the city of Cape Town looking at you going, man, here's a guy with a plan that is scalable, that is potentially, and we'll get into this, taking people off the streets, giving them an income, giving them a purpose when they wake up in the morning? Are people getting on board?
Yeah, look, so first of all, the people that are mainly getting on board and that I'm getting amazing reactions from are crew on film sets. People are so happy to see plastic being washed in front of their eyes and being accounted for. In terms of corporates, I haven't dealt with any real South African corporates. We've done a job indirectly for Nedbank. So my client, who's the production company, would be shooting a job for Nedbank. And I mean, they were willing to pay our small fee, but I can see a trend starting to happen. Corporates are starting to, and clients, the people that are actually making ads, are starting to have budgets for sustainability, which is amazing, because when I started, it was really a passion spend for a lot of my clients. They were like, you know what, we're sick and tired of seeing this waste end up, we don't actually know where it's going, and it's making us look bad. And we want to do something about it. We're going to pay for it out of our own pocket. But what I'm seeing more and more is people that I've never met now. New clients are reaching out to me because they've heard about what we do, and their client has made it mandatory that they need to have some sort of green initiative. So corporates are coming on board, but I think what needs to happen is that the government needs to provide some sort of tax incentive for companies that use a sustainability company like mine, because that's where I can say to my clients, listen, you're actually going to save money and the planet at the same time, because this is the whole thing for me. That can you create a marriage between sustainability for the environment and sustainability for society and the economy, because it's quite simple. If we don't take care of the planet, there's not going to be a planet to shoot ads on, and no one's going to make any money.
Tell me about the Department of, they have a long, convoluted name. It used to just be the Department of Environmental Affairs. It's now Forestry and Fisheries and Environment right at the end, unfortunately. But surely they should be chomping at the bit to get involved with somebody like you.
Look, there should be. So I can't actually speak from personal experience. I haven't contacted them directly, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was, if there's just heaps of greenwashing going on there, and if it's all about industry and profit. I mean, if you've watched what's that documentary about the fishing industry? I forgot the name now.
Yes, but I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about, where
yes.
the symbol on a can of tuna
yes.
that says it's sustainable actually is complete crap. It's not.
Yes.
It's a marketing tool, and look, I do think that eventually the city of Cape Town and government will come on board, but I think they're more worried. So there's this thing called carbon offsetting, right? Mm-hmm. Where instead of having a very active approach the way that we do with waste and making a tangible difference and actually picking up waste with our hands and separating it and washing it, people can buy carbon offsets and fund or contribute to a project that's planting trees somewhere in Asia to offset their
footprint,
their actions and their footprint. Yeah. And look, that's cool and all, but I just feel like it's that's not a sustainable solution either, because now it's just another scale of waste and planting trees here, whereas this waste needs to go down and the trees need to keep on being planted. So I think that's where we can develop our company and start offering more comprehensive reporting and calculating carbon footprints and providing this sort of data that the government will take seriously, because right now it's related specifically to waste management, because that's where I saw the biggest opportunity to actually make an impact and also create jobs, because it takes one person to create a carbon footprint report, but it takes 2 or 3 of us to be on set separating waste and having a physical presence and picking up litter, going to a place. And the film industry has always been known for creating a lot of waste, and now when we're on a job, if our base camp is in CBD in Batencrust Street and there's a whole bunch of waste there, when we aren't collecting waste from the actual shoot, we're picking up litter on the street and we're showing that we've actually left the environment cleaner than when the shoot was there. So
tell me about the people that you're giving a job, a purpose to. Tell me about them.
Yeah, this is for me where my heart really is, and what keeps me super motivated when I'm really tired and times are tough. The first guy that ever worked with me was a car guard just off of Kloof Street here in Cape Town. And yeah, I speak to everyone that I see on the street, and I don't know, I'm just interested, and also because my girlfriend was staying around the corner at the stage, I also feel that it's safer to know the people on the street, and I kind of built a connection with this guy, and he, instead of now standing on the street and collecting coins for watching people's cars, he's an eco ninja. He works on set, and he earns a decent daily rate. And then the sec. So we'll get into that, because I think it's important to actually mention the figures. But so I'd say about 30 to 40% of the guys currently work on set that work on set with me were car guards. I found them on the street. It's a bit tough to go to a homeless person that's really, really homeless. I'd love to do that, and I think we'll get there. But right now I'm just focusing on guys that are also completely alienated in society, that capitalists see as not contributing at all to this system, which will just keep this vicious cycle going. So yeah, I mean, these guys are now working. I think in 1 or 2 days a month of work on set, they'll earn what they earned in a month collecting coins. So what was super important for me was PAs come into the industry with a little bit of experience or from a little bit of a higher class, and they'll earn $950 straight up as their day rate on set, right? Which to me was like revolutionary when I started. And then I very quickly realized, you're still living hand to mouth if you earn that, because you're not on set every day. It's also seasonal, the industry. So what was important for me was to pay the Eco Ninjas at least that and more, so that we can break this cycle of offering people what they expect based on where they come from and what they've earned before, and also valuing them with money before they even work, and seeing if that turns into performance.
So you pay people before they've done the day's job.
So no, so I have done that. Often I will fast track someone's payment if I can. I really couldn't do that in the beginning. But what I mean with that is, instead of saying to a guy, listen, I'll give you $500 for a day, and if you perform, I'm going to give you 600. I'm going to give you 800. Let's go work.
So you're not coming in at the cheapest available. You're actually paying somebody like a human being.
Exactly. You're literally just acknowledging the fact that in order to be a human being and live today, you need to earn a certain amount. So on average, the guys will earn between 800 and 1,200 on really long days, 1,500. There's been a 3,000 Rand day for someone working on a Sunday, so that's premium days.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, guys are making a decent amount of money, enough to actually take themselves seriously in society and not worry so much about the day-to-day stress of eating, paying rent. And look, it is a seasonal business, so it's, summer is super busy, winter not so busy. So far in June, we're only doing 5 days on set. But in those 5 days, an Eco Ninja in total will earn about between 6,000 and 8,000 Rand. If you look at it that way, there's a lot more time now on the side to also do something else and get a bit of money.
Yeah.
So that's important for me. Not to pay people minimum wage. It's bullshit. It will literally just. Everyone wonders why we're staying in this cycle in our country, and it's because people are trying to pay others as little as possible. And small businesses are wondering why they're. Business owners are wondering why they're so stressed all the time. It's because their staff don't want to work because they're not being valued. It's actually super simple, but no one wants to do it.
Are you a sustainable business yet? Are you making profit? You say so. You're a production assistant.
Yeah.
Or assistant producer. Don't know if I got those two the wrong way around. But are you making a profit? Are you able to sleep quite soundly at night? Or you? Got a lot of stress.
I've got another full-time job as of the last 6 months. So in November last year, I started a full-time job that pays me a salary. First time in my life that I earn a salary, and it's great and horrible at the same time, having to trade time for money once again.
Yeah.
But we are a profitable business. Look, the business model is very simple, but it's also geared towards creating profit from every job we do. But then obviously there comes a lot of expenses into play that I couldn't anticipate when I started. One, obviously just being rent, website costs, fuel costs when we're not on a job, because when we are on a job, production pays for fuel. But we are profitable. But an interesting stat that I saw now, for the first time I've gotten financial statements from my accountant. And I've seen that of the total amount of revenue that we've generated, 65% has gone to the Eco Ninjas. And then 22 or so percent has gone to expenses, and then about 15 or whatever percent has been profit. So I would like to keep those ratios in place. And I don't know what other businesses are doing, and how much of the chunk of the money is going into their pocket or the CEO's pocket or whatever. But I will sleep much better at night if I create wealth for myself and 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 other people, as opposed to, me buying a lacquer new house and, the Eco Ninjas are sitting, eating pup and pilchards in the township, and they can't even sleep because they can't pay their rent,
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, we are profitable, and as we expand, we'll just become more and more profitable within the same ratios of how the money's actually split.
Okay. Next 5 years, where do you see the Eco Ninjas?
So I think it's important for us to expand and duplicate what we do already. So, I see us getting to at least 100 Eco Ninjas in the next 5 years. We on a busy month, we've had about 22 people on set. And then also expanding our product to offer more comprehensive reporting and carbon footprint reporting, and just having a more holistic approach to sustainability for a shoot. And doing more movies, more big jobs, because the commercials are small little bursts, 3 days here, 5 days here. We have done one movie, which was 7 weeks, which was amazing, because that was the first time we actually started to make profits. And I realized, we were getting paid weekly, a certain amount, and I could start fast tracking some guys' payments and actually having a bit of cash flow, But yeah, I think the next 5 years we're definitely going to grow. I know that, and we're gonna expand what we do currently, because it's a simple thing. It's just hard work. It requires a lot of attitude, but it's quite a simple thing to duplicate. Buy more dustbins, employ more people, carry on treating people with love and respect, and providing clients with concrete evidence of their steps in acting more sustainably, and just stopping tons of waste from ending up where it shouldn't.
Oh man, it's such a breath of fresh air to find out about the work that you're doing and the difference you're making on the level that you are. And we wish you luck, and thank you for the work that you're doing and for the decisions you've made that led you to this point. And we'll hopefully be able to check in with you in a couple of months or years and see how the Eco Ninjas are doing. Reinie Swart, the OG Eco Ninja. Good to chat to you.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we'll chat again in a couple of months and see where we're at. That'll be amazing.
Awesome.